would like to think that this type of thing only happens in dark alleys and dungeons, but the reality is that child sex abuse occurs all around us. And it could be at our houses, it could be at a sleepover, it could be at your school camp, it could be with a tutor. It's really quite tremendous, and I can tell you this is the case because we've had many, many survivors tell us the most boring locations that you could think of is where they were molested. And it's incredibly sad. In a moment of levity, I put in a Calvin and Hobbes to try to break the ice a little bit, because I really do like this phrase from Calvin. He says, "It's not denial, I'm just very selective about the reality I accept." And I thought that this was perfect because a lot of people would like to think that this doesn't happen all around them. And like Calvin here, we can't be selective about the reality we accept. We need to accept reality, which is that it happens all around us. So here's the other thing. We have our quick slide of statistics, and I'm going to go through them, and it's mind-boggling. And I must admit, as an analytical person, as a business guy, whatever, I really struggled with these statistics when I first started looking into this. It just seemed too much. And so when I'm reading that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 10 boys, it goes all the way up to 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 8 boys. But this is when they've looked at hundreds of studies and they've aggregated it, and all these studies have different definitions of what child sex abuse is. And so this is something for the doctors and the scientists to analyze and tell us, hey, does child pornography viewing on a phone constitute child sex abuse or not? Well, I don't know. But here, at the end of the day, that's predatory behavior. Anyone showing child porn to a kid, that's engaging in predator behavior as far as PACS is concerned. So when we look at these statistics, the Department of Justice estimates that on average there's 1 child molester per square mile in the United States. 60% of kids never disclose or stay silent. Only 1 in 3 will disclose by the time they're aged 18. 35 to 40% of child sex abuse has a minor as a perpetrator. I found that one fascinating. I couldn't believe it. And then I started thinking about it. Okay, you've got a 17-year-old with a 13-year-old. You've got a 16-year-old with a 12-year-old. You've got a 12-year-old with an 8-year-old. This happens. This happens all the time. And it's chronically underreported. So statistics are easy to dismiss or ignore. And I think it's because it's hard for people to grasp suffering in aggregate. It's flippant to say, but Joseph Stalin said, 1 death is a tragedy, 1,000,000 deaths is a statistic. And that's exactly the same thing that we're dealing with here. It's PACS's job to personalize and explain these statistics and help people understand the real-world implications of child sex abuse. And here are 2 case studies that we've come up with, and I think this helps explain the statistics. And this is the type of content that PACS is going to be creating for parents and for people who are interested on this topic.